City.tv.
House party win! Got it! Here we go, Lodge!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Eastern Regionals 2018 in Canberra. This is the 5-6 playoff, the game to go, and instantly Rory Connell puts one up in the air. Everyone misses it. And bench are going to get the disc here and a chance at offense. I'm Daniel Clinton and I'm joined by Claire Bartram. Hello Claire, welcome back.
Thank you. I've had a few games break and get back into it with this men's 5-6 playoff.
Oh, and there's a big throw outside in. That's Linus airing that out. It's not going to come back in. The block is made down there, so the disc will stay down there. Linus airing it out. So, 2 turns straight away in the first point.
Yeah, and I think we might see a little bit of that this afternoon. There is a bit of a breeze. We saw affecting him in the previous game a little as well.
Leung combining there, and Ironbark all of a sudden are all the way down the other end of the field. And the other edge as well, diagonally speaking. Inside out break. And again, another turn. That's 3 here in the first point.
Perhaps both teams just a little unfocused coming into this game.
Nervy.
A bit nervy, yeah.
Jumpy.
A lot on the line with this one. So five positions available going to Division 1 Nationals. So a win in this game is a guaranteed spot to Nationals. So a lot on the line here.
Well, that's a nothing throw. It's ended up in the hands of Ironbark Red. They're trying to get something. That's Julio with the disc. One of the juniors from New South Wales, Leung. Experienced play, gets out the back, the fat side, and that makes it 1-0.
Hopefully both teams can settle a little after that point. A few just longer shots going up and drifting over their players or just out of the lines there. So hopefully they can rein those ones in. I just mentioned before, there is a slight breeze this afternoon coming across the field toward the camera when we can see.
Away from the camera.
Oh, okay, away.
Bottom left to top right is kind of the breeze as it's been all weekend. And Ironbark Red, all of a sudden, they went the length of the field very fast there.
They did. Both teams putting up some really long shots, just the play moving from one end of the field to the other quite quickly. Most of the action around the end zones there, not too much movement through the middle. Perhaps both teams will be looking in these next couple of points just to be working the disc a little bit more. Get comfortable a bit.
Bench are ready. Here comes the pull. Outside in, it's going to be fairly low, so roll bounce. There it is, takes a right-hand turn. Mullery Duran would be proud of that off break. There's the throw. So a good undercut, gaining separation. Sideways into space. That's Costa. He's put it up. And position from Brycicle is what his name is on the back of his shirt.
Bryce Winchester, I think, grabbing that goal.
Big shoulders on that lad. Bench.
Bench looking a lot more comfortable, I think, in that point. They really just picked up the disc, got into their structure, start off with a side stack and a pair of isolated cutters, I think, in the lane. And I think they just took the options that they knew they wanted to hit, coming off nice and easy for them there. Chester just taking out the defender on his way down, but no problem, he's got it.
Yeah, he shrugs it off. He's a big lad. Big horse. So it's Ironbark now, their turn for offense. Bench to play D.
Ironbark.
Before the game, we saw the bench have a bit of a team prayer.
They did. It was a bit of a few words of commitment, I think, from each player that they'll be putting in all of their effort into the next 2 hours of play. Saying they're not a particularly outcomes-based team often. However, in this game, the outcome is quite important. So I think their minds are on that as well.
See Isherwood gesturing with his clipboard. Geez, he looks the part, does Mark Isherwood, as the not the captain, rather the coach of Ironbark Red. Here comes the pull for bench. And I'm going to refer to them as benches all afternoon. They're technically Power Lunch is their team. This is the bench A team. It's going to be some sort of poaching zone. Ironbark Red, Sandoval through the middle. Leung looks for G, can't find him, now finds him. Tim G, probably be the main throwing threat for Ironbark Red, goes through the contact. Strong throw there. Ironbark Red working it through Tim G's hands. He's having to do a lot as the handler. He goes inside out, it's flat. And it's a good throw to space. Leung in the corner. Ironbark Red.
It's a very, very nice inside flick down the field there.
Yeah, Tim G let me know that I hurt his feelings on the call yesterday, so I'll be a little bit more mindful of his emotions and try not to bruise his
a few kind words.
Fragile petals today. We'll go a little bit easy on him.
Bench coming out with a zone there and quickly transitioning into match defense after just a few passes. So I'd imagine we'll be seeing that pulled out a couple more times, if not many more times this game, particularly with this wind. Could be quite advantageous just to force a couple more passes at the beginning there, interrupt Ironbark's flow a little, and then transition into the match defense.
Some great analysis. Where were you when I was playing Frisbee? Would have been great to have you in my ear saying, Dan, this is what you need to be doing.
I think when you were playing Frisbee, Dan, I didn't actually know what the sport was.
That's okay. I mean, we can all wish for things we really could have used. At the end of the day, it's what you bring to the field, and after a very scrappy first point, where there was 3 turns, maybe 4.
4 turns, yeah.
We've just had
both teams
clinical offense. Just kind of needed a bit of a run to get their nerves out. Chodos grabs that one, and it's going to throw it sideways. Chodos gets it back eventually. And there's Chodos running it from the back. Halden out on the wing there, doesn't get the disc, cut off by one of his teammates. Winchester looking underneath, lefty to Zach Chodos, who is running this offense right now.
Not too surprising that pick call occurred there. The bench players are just a little messy in that under space, cutting each other off a little.
Bench in the red zone now. Open side cuts covered well by Ironbark Red. They're looking, high stall, throw to the inside space. Seems to be a pick. And that was a, I think that one should go back. That looked like a pick on the defender that probably would have had a bid there. Would have had to leave his feet, but I think that's a fair call. See the fake, the throw to the inside space. Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Discussion here just about what the disc is coming in on, I think.
Clarification of the stall count. It's Linus getting involved. UTS alum. Long-time Sydney player. It's Linus with the disc. Another pick. second in 2 passes. Seems to be not much space down there.
I think bench will be looking to just call an isolated cutter here to really clean up a little.
Oh, Linus into space. That's the point. Leveled up at 2-all.
That was a good option there to have the stack stationary and just looking for that up the line dump cut. They're just getting a little tangled, cutting each other off a bit coming out of the stack. So good work by bench there to take a few moments, take advantage of the stoppage in play to reset themselves and get a nice easy shot up the line.
The thing I'm loving is the amount of grass stains on the front of bench jerseys.
I'm sure they'll be looking to get a few more stains on there with the camera on as well. Always looking for a few highlights.
Well, it's all been about the offense. After that first scrappy point, offense, Zach Chodos playing a massive role in rolling down the field for bench.
I think both teams will now be looking to just put a little bit more pressure on defense. Both have settled on their offense, so now looking to try and interrupt the other team's flow a little and force a few more passes, a couple more difficult looks. I think they'll be looking to get a nice early break here. Will certainly be good for either team, and you know, with the wind, a break at any point, it'll be quite important, but certainly a good mental boost at the beginning of the game.
Just watching Linus signaling to the rest of his team. And if I've got my hand signals right, it's straight up for 3, then home for the rest of the way. And there's a throw into a lot of space. Ironbark Red working against his single coverage. And there's a strong undercut. And the throw is going to go up. It's a high stall. It'll be contested. Big bid. Ironbark Red. High stall, but it works out in the end to make that 3-2 here.
Ironbark starting off in the horizontal stack there and then transitioning into the vertical. Luckily for them, when that throw went up, one of their receivers was quite deep in that stack, so he was able to chase that down.
And that young man from bench, not sure who it was, reminds me of Alex Liniston. That bid, very, very reminiscent of the Sydney lad from Barefoot.
Perhaps that's one of the reasons they've got so many stains on the front of the shirts there. They're willing to put their body on the line for those bids.
Well, those bids and those plays are what separate the good from the great and the mediocre from the excellent.
And I think they're going to be necessary in these games. Now that the teams have settled a little, they're completing. They're not throwing the disc away. They're not giving the other team the disc. So
it's on the defense.
The turns are really going to have to be earned here, and those big bids will be very crucial, I think, to getting those turns.
Woodley out there calling the play again, clipboard in hand. I don't know how good he is as a coach, but at least he looks the part.
He doesn't seem to look at his clipboard very much. I think just
it's a prop.
He just needs to have it there, so he's got the authority.
I reckon he's seen some of the Canberra boys walking around with clipboards over his time at Heads of State and has thought, hey, that's a good idea. Looks intimidating. Makes it look like I've got a plan. I know what I'm doing. I'm working to a plan, lads. So Ironbark Red trading offensively with bench. Chodos had a huge part in that previous point. Catches the pull, moves it on. And it's going to be a Ironbark Red zone. Chodos quickly to Cam Bennett. Cam to Max Howden.
Great save there.
The mental concentration there. You can see he fluffed up for a moment, looked downfield and had thrown it before he'd even caught it, but then instantly the focus came back. Chodos, far side of the field, trying to find something to the end zone, goes quick with dominator movement, works back to the break side. Again, pro backhand, Max Howden looks off the high release backhand. Cam Bennett into the middle of the field. They're deep in the red zone. It's through hands. And the play is made by Ironbark Red.
Bench there perhaps had a half a second to turn around and attempt to grab that disc as well, but great heads-up defense by the Ironbark defender to get hands to that one and get it down to the ground.
Yeah, Cam Bennett there, a little bit unfortunate for him. Sydney lad now, originally from out west, Bathurst or Dubbo, I believe. Attended CSU University, an alum out of the same university as Jamie Bozza, Michael Craigie, and also Mark Evans attended CSU.
Ah.
It was a tournament, one of Cam's first tournaments. CSU combined with Newcastle Uni.
Another pick called here, I think.
And that was many, many years ago. Ooh, it's contested. Whoa! A little bit of contact there as the disc bobbled. And, ooh, a bit of a injury call by the looks of it.
That was a bit of an awkward way that he went down, I think. Perhaps
Yes.
tripping on the other player.
I'm not sure if he's grabbing his head or the head grab is the injury
I think that's the injury signal, yeah, 2 hands.
He is rolling his neck on the sideline, though. I think he might have just caught an awkward landing there. See, the block made, Ironbark Red, when it went through bench hands. We're back live. Leon, he's going to put it deep. It's low. Chodos! Huge play! Heads up in the lane.
Great D there, anticipating that throw and making sure he got his hand out to it.
So bench now, they get the disc back out of some individual brilliance from Zach Chodos. Winchester goes short. And there's the throw. It's not coming back in by the looks of it. It's going to stay out all the way and blade over, slide sideways and hit the tent down in the yonder. It's coming out pretty much where he threw it.
Those longer shots are proving to be a little risky in this game. We haven't seen too many of them come off yet. Just tending out that sideline.
Go back to the layout, blocked by Chodos.
Great anticipation of the throw down that lane.
And then the athleticism to make the play as well, leaves his feet, gets what he needs to do, gets it done.
Ironbark signalling from the sideline, the disc, where the disc went out, approximately halfway down the field.
That'll be Tim G with the disc as well. Horizontal set. Always awkward from the sideline though to run that horizontal. Tim G's going to break inside. And the flow will be stopped there. The reset to Leon. Looking for that inside break again. Throw for space and meters down the field. Linus caught a long way behind his player. G in the dump, gets the reset, and he's going to go for the around flick. It's in space, and it's a pretty good throw there by Tim G.
Nice throw.
To the fat side of the field, and that's going to be 4-3. The break for Ironbark Red.
They'll be very pleased with that break. Pretty crucial early in the game. They'll give them a bit of a mental boost, a bit of momentum in their way, going their way.
Well, it's good news for Ironbark. This is the 5-6 playoff, the game to go. This will decide who gets that 5th and final spot out of the East. Will it be bench? Will it be Ironbark Red?
I think Ironbark there's still a little room for improvement on their offense. They're setting up out of a horizontal stack and getting a little bit of movement going, but the continuation options just aren't coming quick enough. And so the flow is just looking a little bit interrupted, and the stall counts are often getting quite high, forcing some of those throws, which fortunately so far have come off for them. One longer shot down to the right-hand end zone that we saw earlier, and that one also quite a high stall count, forehand over to the fat side. So I think I'd be letting them know that they just need to create a few more continuation options, and perhaps a little earlier.
And that's the tough part of the horizontal offense, isn't it? Is that generating flow and continuation, timing those cuts.
And particularly starting on the sideline, which occurred in that point there. They still ran out of the horizontal set. You could see the adjustment quite early across to toward the thrower. Getting a nice break throw out there during that point though, so that was able to generate some nice movement for them.
So here's the pull. Ironbark Red on defense. They got the break last point, and bench maybe under a little bit of pressure. Again, Nice off break there. Throw to space. Receiver cruises into the open area. Chodos gets the reset. The round isn't there. And he throws to the open side of the field. And that's a pretty good looking forehand. It's going to sit. Is it going to stay in? He climbs. He grabs it. That is a huge grab.
That's a great grab there, but it looks like it's been called out.
I was wondering if it was going to stay in. It looked a long way over. We don't have a great angle on depth at the moment.
All of those longer shots just sitting up a little in this wind tend to hang in the air for just a little longer. So that was great work. Alex Gant, I think they're under that disc, bringing it down, but unfortunately out, and consequently there was a turn.
Oh, big hammer to the fat side. And Tim G's going to take a lot of contact there. And he's going to call a foul. I'm not sure that is. But it's going to be a contentious one. The rules, of course, on foul, whoever's going to get to the space first owns it. There's no such thing as making a play on the disc. It never excuses contact.
And any play that you do make, you've got to avoid contact throughout the entire play. So regardless of whether the contact occurs before or after. I'm not sure if it's
Tim G making a call or if it's the bench player. Max Howden is going to get involved. He's mentioning the space, and that was my read on it as well. It was who owns the space, who gets there first, who is the onus on there to avoid contact. I think I'd need to watch the replay another couple of times before I can really sort that one out. The players are going to have a chat. So see, here comes the disc. Tim G coming from behind.
I think a likely outcome here might be a contested call and the disc will go back.
Tim G just coming forward, trying to make the play there.
And we're just seeing now the players on the field signalling that it's a contested call, so the disc will go back. I think that's it.
I think that's a weird one. That should have stayed as a turnover, I think. I don't think Tim G really had much of an argument there. He's come from behind the defender. I just wasn't sure who got a hand on it. There's a deep throw, and that's not good. Ultimate Karma, Claire, do you believe in it? Turnover on the next throw?
No.
You don't believe in it?
No. Every moment counts. Every moment's different.
Okay.
That was a great D by the bench player there. Just unfortunate that he whacked it further away.
Just giving his offense more room to work, isn't he?
More room to work or further to get the disc.
Could be either. Big outside in backhand. That's a big, big, big throw. Bids. Doesn't get it.
It's another longer throw that we've seen just not coming off in this game.
That was Gant on the throw. He let it go, but he threw it too far.
I think it was a nice option though. His receiver was in plenty of space.
Throw again, letting him down. It just, not quite getting there. Tim G is going to pick up the disc for Ironbark Red, who are sitting in a horizontal.
This seems to be their favoured start on a turn. When they've got a bit of time, they do look to set up in the horizontal stack.
So there they go, in and out. Tim G still with the disc. He's going to find an under. Gant can't get there. Julio working against him. He fakes. Tim G is free, but the dump is kind of clogged. There's two men in there. There's a nice throw to the open side, just getting a little bit of meters and a bit of a reset. It's a forehand throw to the turf. Skill error, unforced as well.
Bit of a gift to bench there.
Oh, Gant goes fast. I don't think that was a travel. I don't think that was a travel. It's retracted. Okay, Julio, he just thought, hang on a minute, he can't throw that fast. but he can. And Alex Gant, the call gets retracted. Kosher inside out. Gant is there. Phenomenally athletic young man.
Absolutely. Great movement, Gant, there in that play there. Some nice throws in. He's just chasing the disc. He's not waiting to see where it's going. So really generating a lot of movement and quite quick tempo. Unfortunately, that last throw there not coming off. But Gant really driving that offensive flow during that series of play.
I think that Gant really could have an opportunity here to really get his team in this game and get them in front. If he has another opportunity, Julio goes. Gant gives him 10 metres. Ironbark Red looking for the reset, the throw to space. It's there, then the huck. Gant underneath it, Julio in the area. Gant flies, he gets a block. The man, he's in it all at the moment. I did say he could be the key here for Bench. He made a great athletic play and now he's throwing it as well. He can do it all. Bench with motion and flow down the field. They're going strong side all the way. Chodos in the deep area, can't get it. Gant again. Befitting, he throws the assist and he does.
Bench will be very pleased to get that point. A couple of turns there, but Alex Gant really shining in the point there, both on offense and getting that D. That was a fantastic read by Gant down in the end zone. And despite being the shorter of the two players, really took the space on the field.
He does give up some size there to Julio.
Using his body to really get in position and make
front
sure
position.
Front position, yeah, making sure that the disc's coming to him first. So great work by Alex Gant throughout that point.
What a phenomenal talent he is. Do you know much about the Gant?
The Gant, I think he's just played on the Goannas, so the under-24 men's team over in Perth. And was certainly a crucial player on that team. We've just seen in that point, he can do everything. You know, he can drive an offensive passage of play as well as really heads up on D. We saw a couple of times there he was looking to get a D, sort of poaching off his man a little, and then of course getting that turn over in the end zone. So really great play by him. I think he's also on the Frisky team heading to ERUC, the World Ultimate Club Championships later this year, so I'm sure they'll be looking to him there as well. Great athleticism.
And Bench there, back on defense. Linus has the disc. It's of course Martin Forrest, but I don't think anybody even knows that that's his real name, let alone that they call him by it.
Just taking a little time on this turn here. Bench certainly ready to go. And Ironbark still finishing up their line calling.
Linus, interesting fellow. Played at UTS, as I mentioned, but he also played at UTS with Michael Henry Thomas. And it's interesting to see the way their Frisbee careers, so to speak, have gone. Michael Thomas, Henry, he of course plays Colony. You know, one of the key players over there.
Yeah,
whereas
definitely.
Linus has always been involved in these kind of mid-table teams. Bench now. He's never played Colony or that high-level team, but he's always been a pretty valuable member. So, zone.
Bench setting up in a pommy look here.
And Winchester calls travel on Leong, who doesn't bring it in from the corner. Leong looks up to him just to say, "You kidding, bruh?" And then Winchester's like, "Make up your ground." Sandoval and Max Howden doesn't throw the quick one to Winchester. And Bench with a cheap turn. They're looking for the reset. Linus goes open side. Goldilocks is in space. He's got it. The kick spike.
And that's the break back, so we're back to 4-all.
That is the break back indeed.
Serve.
Scores level.
A lot of pressure in that corner with that zone created there by Bench. So that's where the wind is pushing the disc. And they were able to hold Ironbark there for a few moments. Ironbark got one throw off to the centre, but Bench was straight over, and a lot of pressure around that disc. Ironbark didn't look as though they had too many options coming through.
Well, we have a timeout here, so a break is called for, and we'll be back very shortly with the second half of the first half of this 5-6 playoff, the game to go to Nationals here at Eastern Regionals 2018.
House party win!
So timeouts, we're just trying to figure out where these teams came from, and bench. A bit of a heartbreaker for them, previous game.
Definitely coming off a universe point loss to Fishwick. So Fishwick very pleased heading to nationals, but bench unfortunately into the finals and having to really fight for their spot in this game here.
I love it, the finals.
The semi-finalists now really just playing for seedings at nationals. They all have guaranteed spots.
Whereas this game, this is the important game. This is the game that we all want to see, the game to go, the game to decide who takes the last, the fifth, the final spot out of Easton's. And Ironbark on offense scores a tied at 4-all after bench, a bit of a resurgence and a defensive fight back, got a couple of breaks and all of a sudden leveling this one up. Ironbark trying to work it. They're looking long down the field. Receiver's there. He's nearly in the end zone. Comes back to the end zone line. The around to space. It goes up. The Breeze is going to have a play on that. And it ends up in Ironbark hands for the 5-4 scoreline.
A couple of really good grabs by the Ironbark players there.
At their limits.
Quite difficult low throw to catch at speed. Managed to get his hands to it and hold on to it. And that second one there perhaps could have been a little easier than the Ironbark player made it.
We see the around. Just, to the break side of the field. Defender runs under it. And the receiver nearly bobbles it.
That's a nice look from Ironbark there over to that fat side. There was plenty of room over there. And the Ironbark player certainly had the advantaged position. Nice throw to space if pushed a little by the wind.
So Ironbark, their defense is now on the field. 5-4, it's tight. It's hard fought. And we're already 33 minutes in.
There's certainly been quite a number of turns in this game. So we've had a couple of longer points. A few points where we've had 3-4 turns.
And of course, stretching the time the points last, and well, therefore the time the game's gone. It's been enthralling. Hard to believe that 30 minutes ago it was 0-all. Zach Chodos is going to let this one bounce, and it's going to sit in the end zone. He's going to go to the middle of the field. It's a block. It's not a block.
Be a call on that one.
He's straight away uncontested. Great spirit from the Ironbark player. He's not even going to talk about it. He says, yeah, my bad.
Great athleticism to get down there and get in the space for that throw, though.
Yeah. So the disc comes in, Howden goes out, and the throw to space. Howden in a world of his own, he's going to air it out. Howden not known for his throws, but maybe we're going to change that reputation here today. He throws a very nice long bomb.
And a very nice passage of play there by bench. I think they knew what they were looking for all the way down the field. We saw Howden cutting early. He may have been isolated there with the stack over to the side just a little, and as soon as he looked to be receiving the disc, he had a couple of cutters heading toward the end zone. I think they knew that he was looking for that, and they were ready.
See the throw to space. That's a lovely throw, the first forehand, and then the second forehand. Max Howden.
It's a very nice throw out in front there.
Just, it didn't give the receiver much to do. Just go stand in the end zone and then have this land on your head. Speaking of Max Howden, it'll be interesting to see what kind of impact he has on the game. Mentioned Tim Lavis yesterday, great leader. Max Howden is also a leader of men, a wonderful person to play with and for, someone who lifts your spirits, and you just want to play better when you're around him.
Certainly, and a great coach as well. He's gotten into coaching over the summer, or perhaps has continued coaching over the summer, the under-24 Blue Bottles, and as you said, just a pleasure to be playing with. Certainly someone who consistently lifts spirits on the sideline, someone who really will make sure that the team's still fighting and still in it, no matter the result. I think that's perhaps a driver behind benches, perhaps lower focus on results and just making sure that they're enjoying themselves while playing Frisbee. Max certainly someone who will always be doing that and making sure other people are having a good time too.
Alex Gant with the pull. It's a gigantic pull. He's ripped that out the back of the end zone by 5 yards. That is an 85-metre throw into the breeze. For Gant.
Plenty of time to set up here.
Well, Ironbark, they'll have this from the brick mark. Tim G with the disc walking up. They haven't had it all their way, Ironbark. They've had to fight for everything they've got.
Bench look to just be going back to their match defense here. We saw a zone look earlier.
Single coverage down the field against the Ironbark Red horizontal that they seem to favour. The in and the out combined on the two primary receivers in the middle of the field. The throw out to the wing. He's looking back to the middle to get some movement. The power position is there. Lung works for it. He can't find it. The throw is going to come. High stall count. Looks like there's a call with the thrower and the mark.
We've seen that a couple of times now where Ironbark's got the disc in the power position, but they just don't have any of those continuation options.
Whether it's a matter of timing or just separation, it's not there at the moment. So Sandoval will make up his ground. He'll come back. An Ironbark Red hammer to the fat side.
And once again, that high stall count throw has come off for them into the end zone.
It's good times here. That's 6-5, I think.
Yeah, 6-5 Ironbark up. I think I'd really be looking to get some more options generating from Ironbark. Perhaps they just need to clean up their structures a little bit more, particularly in the passage of play, just to make sure that they're clearing nice and quickly back into the centre, or back into their horizontal sets to the sideline, just to make sure that they know who those continuation options are.
It is the hardest part of a horizontal offense, generating the second, the third pass with good timing to really put the defense on their heels.
And particularly also transitioning at some stage into that vertical stack as they have been doing, making sure that's communicated to the whole team. Otherwise we can end up with spaces clogged both in the centre of the field and on the sidelines as players are trying to clear, but also other players are looking to reset the structure, so they'll just need to make sure that they're communicating about that and make sure those options are coming.
Ironbark Red there. Their turn for a bit of defense. Woodley
gesturing out there. Very clear in what he wants. Pumps the fist, he says, bring it, boys. Bench, on the other hand, Max Halden signals that they're ready. Chodos had a great game thus far. He's in the yellow buff. I learned it was called a buff. That pull is god-awful. That's on the next field. Nearly murders the baby in the tent.
The sidelines covering their heads, making sure they're not hit by that blade coming in.
Yeah, I learned it was called a buff, Claire.
A buff, yes.
Sunsmart.
I think they're a bit of a trend in Ultimate in Australia at the moment.
They're all the rage.
Yeah, lots of rep teams as well as club teams looking to get custom buffs.
Apparently Factory was searching, trying to get someone to make them some factory buffs.
Yeah.
That would have been mad. So Ironbark Red get a turn after an underthrown flick, and that's a low throw. Bench are going to get it back. Chodos is going to be the one who's going to pick it up. Of course, what sparked the buffs conversation was Chodos's yellow buff. He looks like the end of a banana. It looks like a banana's been stuffed in his shirt. And just the end is poking out the top. Chodos just walks away from the mark. Intelligent stuff from him. So gives himself a bit of a breather. All from the stack will be resolved, and the disc will come in on the stall it was on, I believe. Stall coming on actually on 0. So Chodos tries to go through. Strong mark. Lots of physicality there. Chodos, though, just goes through him. No worries around the bigger man. Halden looks for Chodos. Can't find him. The mark covers well. Throw into space. And then the long throw down the line. And then the continuation isn't there to Cam Bennett in the end zone. The reset is there at short range. The around is not thrown. Halden has yards. He has a lot of separation. He gets it instead on the open side. It's all strong side at the moment. They go weak side through Chodos to Linus, who inside out flicks.
That's a very nice flick to the end zone.
Someone pour some water on that, man. There's smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fire. He has flung that in there.
Ironbark with a lot of pressure on those marks all the way down the field, really forcing all of Bench's throws up the sideline here. A lot of just short forehands to the open space. Really, really great pressure on the mark, making those arounds very difficult. Bench managing to get one out later in the play and opening up that space consequently.
And that forehand, that inside-out forehand, we've seen so many of those get blocked, go to ground. That one's a good one, though.
It's a beautiful flick, and putting it out into space made it nice and easy for his receiver.
So 6-all in this game. The game to go, 42 minutes gone, 28 to go.
Both teams looking, I have to say, a bit exhausted after 2 days of play.
Well, I've been sitting in the shade talking for 2 days, and I'm exhausted.
Still exhausted. But I mean, this is where it counts. This is where you've got to bring it. It's always the end of the tournament where
the season was almost on the line here for both teams. It's do or die. The loser going to Div 2. Because I would say it's unlikely that Easterns would get a wild card with 5 spots already to the 16-team tournament. South Australia obviously missing out through their poor performance at Southern Regionals. And they had to send in a letter asking pretty please after can we come to Nationals.
They'll be looking to get that wild card after spot.
And the wild card sorted by after discretion. Linus with a pull that is going to sit and then it's going to slide. It's a great pull, gives the defense time to get down there. Linus is going to match up against Tim G. That's a good matchup. Be interested to watch that one lay out. Leung gets it and then he pumps it. It's very low and long. He's going to go. He's going to not be able to reach it.
That disc very quick through the air.
Not much height on it at all. No float either with the breeze, just pushing that further away from the receiver.
It was a good run to get down there, but I'm not sure that that was ever catchable, that one.
And this could be Bench's opportunity. They'll go down the field, they'll go up the break.
Bench setting up in a diagonal stack here. We've seen that from a couple of the men's teams during this tournament. They all look quite well drilled in using the the diagonal.
We saw the diagonal used to great effect in the women's yesterday. I believe it was Factory using the diagonal stack to excellent effect. There's Gant, throws across the field. He's going to get the reset. Wow. Nice grab there, laying it out to ensure that he grabbed that one. Engages, gets Gant, the layout again. Bodies are starting to fly. And there's a nice grab up high, Winchester. And then the bid from Julio. They're starting to fly around the boys. They understand this is a big point. There's a pick in the stack. Linus is going to point Leung back to his ground. I feel like they need to throw it to Gant. Give it to the Asian train of pain.
You can really feel the energy lifting at this point in the game. Both teams really, really wanting this and knowing that this is where they've got to put it all in.
Gant cuts up the line, drags 3 Ironbark defenders with him. They understand how dangerous he is. Gant, far sideline. He's close. He's faking. He's faking. He wants it. He throws a push past the Asian painter train. Looking to make it happen for Bench. 7-6. They're up the break. And Ironbark, a costly turnover that Bench have punished them for.
Bench very happy about getting that break, and that'll be crucial in this game.
Wow, the bodies are starting to fly, and this is what we came to see in the finals.
A great bit on the mark there.
Is it the finals?
The finals, yeah. The finals for fifth.
So what's the finals for 7th?
Yeah, it could be 7-als. Although I think it tends to work in brackets of 4. So the normal finals, the 5-als, the 9-als. So you get a semi and a final in each bracket.
Okay.
That's how I like to think of it anyway.
Okay, it's going global, the 5-als. But this is the game to go. So it is probably the most important game we're going to see in the men's division here. The 1, 2, 3, 4 is just to sort seeding out. We don't really care. Let's call.
Yeah, and let's
call it as it is.
Those teams all straight through, all qualified.
Whereas this one, there is a lot on the line for both sides. And the sudden increase in physicality is telling the story. It's going to be Bench again, their defense. Ironbark, their offense.
Bench will be looking to draw on some of that momentum they've just created in that point, and I'd imagine we're hoping for another break here. Potential to take half if they can do that.
Max Howden's out there. Great player to have. Very experienced. Worlds campaigns upon Worlds campaigns. I believe he played 3 in the end. He's played Barramundis, which is the unrestricted age mixed team, coached, and it's zone. And it's a turnover. Tim G hasn't really hit the receiver there. It's bounced off his left hand. Bench with an opportunity to take half. This could be a dagger. It could be a nail in the coffin of Ironbark Red. Lefty backhand to score. It is a nail in the coffin of Ironbark Red. They've lost it. It's all gone to shit.
A gift there, Ironbark making that. Perhaps a miscommunication between those two players. Just the disc went up and the receiver, though very close, was not ready to receive that disc. And Bench really capitalising.
I'm losing my brain.
Very happy to have taken half there, and now with a slightly more comfortable lead. Perhaps the biggest lead we've seen in a while here. The teams were trading points, but now Bench up 2 breaks.
We'll take half time. We'll be back with the second half of this finals. The game to go to nationals. Bench, power lunch as they're called here, playing off against Ironbark Red, the first division team of the Hills Ultimate Club. We look forward to the conclusion of this one because it promises.
Well, welcome back from halftime. Bench receiving to start the first half. They're up the 2 breaks at the moment. Chodos with the disc goes to Winchester. Gets the Dukes out in front of him and catches that one nicely. Halden has Cam Bennett going deep. There seems to be a pick call.
Bench coming out in that side stack there and really isolating 2 cutters, giving them a lot of space in the lane. Using it quite effectively, I think. Takes a couple of cuts to get open, but showing good defense by Ironbark. The Bench looking quite comfortable in their structures now, I think.
So there's a throw to this near side, and there's a throw to Chodos, who's got space. I'm speechless. I just lost all my words as I watched that. Chodos has shown up to play this afternoon, and Winchester with the gapping cut to finish.
A very nice passage of play down the sideline there for Bench. I think that shows us one of the differences perhaps between these 2 teams at the moment is Bench's ability to have those continuation options coming, and they're hitting them every time. Their passages of play just look a little smoother, a little quicker. The tempo's a bit faster. Ironbark perhaps struggling with generating some more of those continuation options, and consequently just getting a little stalled, having to put up a few more high stall count throws.
We see Alex Gant getting back out on the field. Claire, you had a chat with the Asian Pain Train in the halftime break.
I did. Gant's just having a good time, as he always does playing Frisbee, but Bench this half just looking to continue their momentum from the first half.
I believe there was a Maxism in there.
The team chat, there was literally nothing to say. So Bench will be taking that one on board and doing everything the same.
Literally nothing to say. That's got to be a Max Haldenism.
I think so. I think if Alex Gant can do exactly as he did in the first half, then he'll continue to be a pretty crucial player on both offense and defense in this second half. Hopefully generating a few more turns for them, and then really using his athleticism and great throws to drive the offense on this line.
Whilst I have fallen in love with the Asian Pain Train, we probably need to talk about some of the other bench players. They've got a solid supporting cast out there. It's not all star power. It's a lot of solid players just doing their role, doing their part, running hard.
Yeah, a lot of role players and a lot of depth through this team as well.
There's not really a fall off. You can't really spot a weak link out there. The deep cut goes, but the throw does not. Ironbark with the disc. Sandoval goes out. He's going to stop and not get anything going deep. It's clogged. Tim G clears, and he's going to work under. He's got a lot of space here. He can't get the disc. He's going to receive it pretty much in line with the thrower. There's nothing coming from down the field. As you mentioned, Claire, those continuation cuts. Leon goes now, doesn't get it, and Bench, their defense is amping up. They maybe look to win this here. High stall, throw to the fat side. It's floating, a pack forms. It's going to come down in the hands of Bench. And there looks to be a call, injury call.
Some fantastic defense being played by Bench here. Just really shutting down all of the cuts that Ironbark is attempting to generate up the field. A lot of just short lateral passes having to be made.
And they almost looking to win it here. And they might be able to continue nailing the coffin of Ironbark Red shut. And again, the Asian Pain Train, he's aired it out. A pack forms, it's 3v2. They're all up. Ironbark Red get the block though. There looks to be a call. And they're going to talk about it.
A couple of players have been taken out here, but because of the wind, that disc really sat up a lot of time just hanging in the air, given time for that pack to form underneath, and consequently a few players
I really don't think there's much call to be had there. I reckon it should probably stay as a turnover. I think Ironbark Red, their players had good position, and it really didn't look like there was any untoward contact. When you got players working to the same spot where the Frisbee is,
yeah, it can be difficult in those situations where there's a lot of time and a pack can form.
They're still talking about it. Let's have a look at the replay. Goes up. Yeah.
Chewy there did have good position, but just went up a little early.
You know, the Ironbark Red player is riding him on the way down, but he'd had his play. He was on his way down as the contact was there, and it will stay as a turn, as I suspected. Good ultimate, I think. Not to stand by a call there, because his opportunity had been gone. He was on the way down when the contact was made. And Tim G, he's going to need to do something special here, Tim.
Ironbark now setting up with a side stack and just one isolated cutter out in the lane.
We've seen a lot of this isolated cutter out of the side stack. G, he's going to throw the poach open. Julio goes to the high release backhand. Sandoval, he's in the area, but the read is made by the bench defender who gets the block and the turnover. Bench now back on offense. Far side, Gant has the disc, and he goes with a nice looking flick. The Asian paint train is rolling.
Another very nice passage of play there from Bench after a fantastic block down in the end zone.
What a cut there. And the throw, the Asian paint train. He's set course. He's going to be pulling into the Gold Coast station shortly on his way to Nationals, I suspect. It's 10-6. Another break for Bench. They're stretching their legs now.
Ironbark are really going to have to come out with something different here, I think. Just trying anything to interrupt this flow that Bench has going. Some really, really nice movement that they've got. They just know where they want to be. They know where their players are headed. I think a lot of experience playing with each other is doing them very well here. And Ironbark just needing to pull out something else to interrupt that flow a little.
We'll correct our scoreboard in a moment. It's 10-6 the score. Bench, they've got the nails, they've got the hammer, they've got one or two in the coffin. What do Ironbark need to do here? We see Woodley on the field, he's gesturing. What do they need to do, Claire?
I think just maintain the defensive pressure. Bench is getting a lot of movement through that open lane. Ironbark, we saw in an earlier point some really, really great pressure on the mark, but they just need to make sure that when they're in match that they're shutting down those upfield options.
Like sands on the beach of the goal.
Bench ready to go here. Ironbark just taking a bit of extra time to make sure they know what they're doing. I think there was a little confusion in that point about perhaps what the setup was. A player having to readjust from one side of the field to the other to get back into the stack. So perhaps just making sure they're all on the same page here.
Well, Woodley was not impressed. He looked like he just spotted a hair and he smashed Avo. And Red are going to let this one roll out. No one looking like they want to pick up the ball. Ironbark Red, they're going to need someone to stand up.
Not showing too much confidence there. I think I would have liked to see someone just take a bit of control, be a bit more assertive in getting that disc onto the field. They're just taking energy away from themselves in waiting for this. And I think they just need to get it moving a little quicker.
And at this stage of the game, it's about who wants it more.
Definitely. I think at the moment, Bench really is working perhaps a little harder than Ironbark.
Oh, a little bit of sneakiness from Bench. I love it. They show man. They go zone.
A late adjustment to the defense there.
Good stuff. Love a little bit of a wrinkle. And Ironbark Red all of a sudden have to work zone offense. The wall is pretty good. They find Lung though. Patience. Tim G throws a quick, nice looking backhand. Lots of spin on that. Winchester again on the mark. We saw him there early. The low throw to Sandoval. Sandoval breaks the layout. He can't get there. Bench.
That Pommy zone has been very effective for Bench in that position.
And Linus picks it up, punches it in. 11-6. The Pommy, it's been a wrinkle.
It has. We've seen a couple of points where Bench has pulled out that Pommy zone and really just trapped the disc down at their end zone down there. And Ironbark really unable to generate anything through that cup, and so the turns have come very, very close to the end zone, and Bench only needing a couple of passes each time to get the score.
So we have a timeout call, a little bit overdue by Woodley. They're going to huddle up, have a chat, talk about this bench. They've got their suitcase packed. They've got their shoes on. They might be going. We're going to find out. 11-6 is the scoreline. Ironbark out of the half. Not the half. A timeout call.
Timeout, yet.
Go around the grounds.
We heard at the beginning of the game there, bench having a little sermon perhaps and really committing to putting in all of their effort into these 2 hours, and I think they're certainly doing that at this stage. Their energy's looking up. They're really looking like they're working hard and working as a team very well. I think they'll be very pleased with how they're playing this afternoon.
But the job's not done.
The job is certainly not done. Tickets will not have to be, can't be booked just yet.
It's fine to have your suitcase packed, but you've got to finish the job. There's 5 minutes to go in the game before we hit time cap, which means it's highly unlikely we will see a game to 15. But a 5-point buffer for bench. And their defense, it's been really good, hasn't it, the bench defense?
Definitely, and they've got enough options that they can really switch it up. So Ironbark really hasn't been able to settle into any kind of offensive structure. Bench just coming out with different looks.
Just keeping an eye on the sidelines. Chicken Boy ensuring that Zach Chodos is topped up with some form of energy drink. And it's going to be bench working some sort of weird transitional zone. Sandoval with the disc. He's going to throw flick. Comes this side. And that's Julio. Looks like the transition is on. Ironbark Red letting it resolve. They're trying to figure it out. Tim G is going to catch that inside break. Tim G with the disc. He looks, he doesn't throw it. Instead taking a nice option there. And here's another one. They go sideways to Sandoval looking. G creates separation. There's some good day 5 cutting, but the throw is not there. Cam Bennett is...
Great defense by bench there.
Cam Bennett.
Close enough to behind his player just to get that run through block.
And Bennett looks off the under, goes instead sideways. Dominator movement. Bennett running the offense at the moment. Howden goes sideways. Howden again fakes the pass to Cam Bennett. Goes back to the middle of the field. Bench working it well. Their offense looking great. The shot is up, and there's bench in the end zone again. It's 12-6.
Another break for bench there.
Have bench broken Ironbark Red?
They're certainly running away with this game.
It seems like they've busted them. It just seems like it's gone. Woodley's going to call another timeout here to try and fix it. They've sprung a leak though, and this is problem signs for the Ironbark Red fans. So a faster timeout this time. We see an ambulance crossing the field. Hopefully, hopefully whoever that is for is okay. See Woodley clearing the field. It's all there to do for Ironbark. A lot of work to be done. Bench on a high wave of emotion and momentum at the moment.
This has typically been where bench has looked to pull out a bit of a zone and put a lot of pressure on the disc down at this end of the field.
Look at it.
And
It's coming again. It's doing it again. Showman, go zone. I love a little bit of trickiness. Tim G going to get this one. Throw through the middle. It gets blocked. It bounces up.
It's a great block by Chewy there.
And the turn will stand.
We see once again that cup very, very effective for bench in putting a lot of pressure on around the disc on that sideline there.
So Chodos with the disc, the outcut. Gant has it. Winchester goes. Gant, nice around break, getting some separation and a bit of width. Chodos again, the around again. A for effort, goes
Great
horizontal. Grab. It's beautiful. Scott George has the camera on that one. Hopefully he caught it. Gant throws the assist. The Asian Pain Train on the stat sheet again.
Bench making really, really great use of that zone there.
Yeah, that's game. It's all over and done with. I don't see how, but both teams seem to be agreeing. We seem to have the time wrong. Claire Bartram, thank you very much for joining me on the mic. Your closing thoughts for this finals game, the game to go.
I mean, it started off a tight match. A couple of breaks early from Ironbark, a couple of breaks back from bench, and we traded for a while there, but bench really just putting in the effort, really running hard, keeping the energy up toward the end of the game there. And to be honest, I think it was their defense that perhaps won the game for them. Just huge amounts of pressure down that disc, and Ironbark just didn't have a lot of options, struggling to generate at times, and I think that's largely due to the amount of pressure that bench was putting both around the disc and on their upfield cutters as well. So bench will be very pleased with that. They can now safely book their tickets to the Gold Coast to Div 1 Nationals. Ironbark will have to perhaps wait and hope for the after discretionary spot, but otherwise they'll be heading to Division 2 Nationals, I suspect.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The finals have finished, and I look forward to seeing Alex Gant, the Asian Pain Train, Max Howden, and the bench team at Div 1 Nationals. Ironbark Red, wow, not the result they were hoping for. But ladies and gentlemen, we've enjoyed your company. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Alti.tv